I think, it's cyclical. You have, decades where we really feel a need to document children's growth. And I think that documentation of children's growth is really not true understanding of children. It's one facet of children. And so a standardized test score is a very minute picture of a child's academic capability during that 1 hour that they were taking an examination in a year or whenever you take that. And we are, I think, limiting ourselves as educators in general, in the mainstream world, in thinking that that one quantitative number that labels that child or that class or that school defines the educational environment that's happening there. And I think we really are selling ourselves short if we think that one piece of academic information defines a school. Because what you really want to look at in progressive education cannot be defined by one piece of information. We typically do not use letter grades in progressive education because we don't want to label a child as being an A or a B or a C, especially in the elementary grades when they're so malleable. They're learning, they're growing, and I think that most of us would agree that to say our kindergartner is getting an A in writing is really kind of an amorphous description of a child at that age. So we really want to offer the opportunity for nuanced assessments. And I think most parents, if they were to get the report card, the ABC report card of their third grade child, and they had the opportunity to sit down with the teacher for 45 minutes to an hour and have that teacher tell me about their child, which one would they really value more as being an assessment of their child? Ideally, the teacher and a 45-minute conference to an hour, which progressive education values that conversation with parents rather than a letter grade, you're going to get at the not only, I'm concerned about their math and this part of their math, but I'm noticing that they're very curious in this area, so we want to try to merge their curiosity with their skill set and their capability. What do you think? And talk with the parents about what they're seeing at home, what they're seeing at school, what are the patterns, what are the social emotional things that are affecting their academics and vice versa, peer relation, curiosity, capacity. You're going to get a much more well-rounded assessment of a child. But it takes time, it takes expertise, it takes trust, because at the children's school, without letter grades, in Winnetka, we don't have letter grades. Baker Demonstration School, no letter grades. Parents often want to know, where is my child in relation to all the other children? Are they an A student or are they, and you have to really calm down that intensity of need for quantitative data, because it is only an artificial assessment of one component of a child. And there has to be trust to the point where when you say to the parent, we know that there are areas your child is learning and growing, and there are areas your child needs to learn more. And that capacity to nuance their capacity, their abilities, really, I think, is much more effective in terms of being able to merge the needs the parent has and the needs the child had toward growth. And so I think that, again, it's the easy way out to label a child, a school, a district by a single kind of quantitative measure and say the school is successful or not based upon that, because we like numbers in our society. We like to box people in, whereas it's much more difficult to be able to say that school does a really good job, or that classroom is really beautiful at, or that child is remarkable at, because you have to really think through, you have to have time to listen, hear, understand, but what you get out of it is much more rich.